Hello everyone, hope you can see me. It says I'm live. Just to start off, who loves my Sunday hair? Isn't it brilliant? Unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do my makeup and everything today because it's a Sunday and I haven't moved from bed and I haven't had the best weekend, so I'm going to be doing this live in my room, so I hope that's okay with all of you. I did my team selection here, so I hope you all had a lovely weekend. Also, I had a roast today. I had pigs in blankets as well, coming up to Christmas now, isn't it? So I think it's acceptable. And yes, time to reflect, I think. And I always like to do my Sunday reviews because I feel like I've got over the anger of the result. And you know, especially when we lose, I feel like you're more angry at the time when this happens. So it's just easier for me to, you know, do it on a Sunday because I've now got my thinking cap on, basically. Fernando, you are beautiful. Thank you, Fernando. I can't believe that's true today, but thank you. Anyway, time to reflect on the game. I'm not as depressed as I was yesterday. I think it can be rectified. I know Conte spoke out and he said, you know, his soul was really hurt and that he doesn't like to lose twice in a row. And you know, I like that in a manager. I think that's a good thing. And it shows that he cares, and I don't think he wants to lose. I think he's tried to sort out the situation more than anything else. Sorry, I just opinion's better. Sophie, can you answer why Willian starts? I'll get there, darling. But yeah, you know, we need a manager like that. We need somebody that actually cares. We need somebody that has a thinking cap on. And I don't think this is a case of Conte not knowing what to do. I just think he's trying to figure out the best system whilst we've got our injured players out. So I'm going to put it out there, and I think for the time being, until Kante's back, that we need to, because I actually don't think that we're at a situation. I know there's a bit of an update and he's feeling a lot better, but we don't know what's happening with that yet, and I don't know whether he's definitely going to be playing in the Roma game. I think again it's a little bit too soon, but that'll be up to Conte to decide. I'm going to put it out there. I think our problems lie deeper than our injuries. We need to change our back line. That's what I'm going to say. I think we need to change our back line. I think we need to go back to having Rudiger, Christensen and Dave at the back. That's who I think should be back. I know obviously Dave scored an own goal in the 11th minute yesterday, but that's a one-off. I've never seen Azpilicueta play that way, and I think he's allowed to make one mistake once in a blue moon. I think that's fine. But I would go back to having Rudiger, Christensen and Dave at the back, because we were strong. We were doing really well then. There was no need to change anything. That's the way I see it. I think we were fantastic. So I'm going to put it out there and say that needs to be the new back line. David Luiz is a fantastic footballer. I've never liked him as a defender. I don't think he should be there. He makes too many mistakes. I think when we've seen it, you could see it in most games that you play, and even against Arsenal, he just makes these silly little mistakes and he gets almost a little bit too feisty and almost a little bit too not overexcited, but you know what I mean. He gets a bit sloppy, and for a defender, you need to have that JT effect. You need to have composure. You need to be disciplined, and I don't really see that from him at the back. So I wouldn't have him there. So I would have Rudiger, Christensen, and Dave, and then I would put, whilst we've got a lack of attacking options, David Luiz offers that attacking force, so why not push him further up midfield? That's what I would do. I think that's the best option that we've got at the moment. So I would move him further up forward. I like the fact that Fabregas was in the team. I think he's probably the only player yesterday that did something of, you know, I don't know, worth in the game. But that's what I would do. And I think our problems have actually continued since. I think it's very strange. Conte seems to favour putting Cahill in the team. He seems to, you know, at the start he played last season, basically all through last season he played players based on merit, and we won the league. So I think he needs to go back to doing that, because it's brilliant. Like I say, I'm not a Cahill hater, but I think, like I said yesterday in my match review, you need the whole team to fit in well together, and I feel like putting him in there unfortunately drops another really good player. So that's who I want my back line to be, and I think it's vital that it's corrected. We're moving on as a team now. The whole point in, you know, having this sort of like new era is that we're getting new players in. We're trying to think ahead, and putting Rudiger and Christensen in the team is what it should be. It's just simple as that. Neither of them deserve to be dropped. Christensen especially, after he played against Man City fantastically. Why on earth are we dropping him? So I honestly would put them all together. That's what I would do, and then I would move David Luiz further up in the midfield. So yeah, that's what I'm going with at the moment. In terms of Michy Batshuayi, like I said yesterday, I think he's a good option, but I feel like in order for him to score goals, he needs the support of the team, and especially he needs the support of the manager. If he's not going to get that, then I don't really see how he's going to progress further with Chelsea, because I think a manager and a player's relationship is really, really important. And Morata clearly is favoured by Conte, so he obviously has a brilliant relationship with him. And it's a shame that isn't for Batshuayi. I think as much as he's trying, you know, when you think, okay, right, that's my only chance, and we all knew it was his chance to shine yesterday, but Palace walked all over us. So, and that's not just down to him, that's sort of a team effort. So I don't think it's his fault at the moment, and I would like to see him get more time. I think it's vital in January that we do look for another striker. I think it's probably too late to correct it properly now. I would say in the summer we need to have a proper look around and try and find another Morata. But I still think Michy offers something to a team where he can come on and score goals in the last few minutes of a game. He can come on and make an impact. So I don't think it's entirely down to him. I don't think it's entirely his fault. But yeah, that's what I think. Sorry, I keep yawning. I'm so tired today. That's sort of where I am with that. And you know, like I say, I've had to have a good think today about what went wrong yesterday. What can we do to correct it? And that's what I think. I think our problems have been going on for quite a while since we sort of tried to incorporate Cahill back into the team, since we've messed around with that back line. Because if you think about it, things probably start from the back and further forward. I think even against Man City, actually, was probably the only time I saw our midfield fall apart, actually. Our other problems, I think, just lie in other places. And I think it's just a case of getting the right players in the right place. I don't think it's necessarily individual mistakes. I think it's all bar obviously Dave's own goal. I think it's just collectively as a team, when they're not in the right place, they're not doing as well. Right, questions. Okay. What do you think, Sophie? Bring Abraham back, Tammy Abraham? Yes, that would be great. It's if we're looking for somebody to come back ASAP, that would be a decent shout. The only worry I have with that is that Chelsea don't really like to play any of our academy players, any of our younger players, no matter how well they seem to be doing. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to have to take a leap of faith at one point, because we have a lot of talent coming through our academy. We have a lot of talent in our young players, but our board just don't see it. They like to buy players that already have a huge name, that aren't homegrown. I mean, it's just a fact. So if we could get him back, then I'd love that, and I think he'd be a great option. I always think playing for Chelsea FC is completely different to playing for another club, because I think the board have such high expectations of you, and you know that there's not really much time to settle in. It's more like score a goal in your first 90 minutes playing for us, or you're out. So, but if he can come back, I would love that. Any other questions, guys? I think I saw something about Musonda. I saw something like Danny Drinkwater. Where is he? Your guess is as good as mine. Injured, isn't he? And that's a bit annoying, actually, to be honest, because with Kante out, if, like I say, I'm more of a fan of just doing a straight swap when there's a problem with a player. But I feel like I said, I feel like it's our back line that's not really in the right place. Kante obviously offers something that no other player can offer. I think if there's any player in the Premier League, any player in any league that needs a Kante in their team, they all need a Kante in their team, and I think they'll do whatever they can to get him eventually, because it's happened to two of our teams. Two teams in the Premier League now have suffered with the loss of Kante. We suffer when we don't have him in the team when he's injured. Leicester suffered when he wasn't there anymore. It's clear to see that the impact he has on a team, and like I said yesterday, that to me is more important than scoring goals. His contribution on the pitch is way more important than scoring goals. But yeah, drink water. We're just gonna have to wait until he's properly fit, I suppose, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but we'll just have to keep. I'll try and keep you updated with that this week. Do you think Fabregas should be benched? No. I don't think he should be benched at all. I think Fabregas picks up the slack for quite a lot of players normally, and I think the only reason he ever gets dropped is if the team is it fits better without him. I just don't think it's an individual problem with him himself. And I think actually since Conte did drop him, and he said, he didn't even want his teammates to speak to him, he was that upset, that it's made him a better player overall. I think he's a much better player. We should keep Conte for a few more seasons, allow him to bring through academy players and not put pressure to just win. Well, you say that, but I think he's had the chance to. We've got the likes of Musonda. He played against Forest and he was really good. He shined, and he hasn't really got a look in the first team. I know he came on a little bit, but I mean he's not getting a full 90 minutes anytime soon. So that's unfortunate. What do you think about changing formation to fit Batshuayi? I don't think we need to. I don't think it's Batshuayi we need to work around. I think it's like I say. I think it starts from our back line. I think we'll work our way from the back forward. That's the way I would look at it. And the first thing we need to do, I think, is go back to what was working well, go back to what was winning us games, and that is Christensen, Rudiger, and Dave. And I think we're missing out Kante. If we need some attacking force, if we need some help, move David Luiz further up the midfield, because he offers something. He offers an attacking force. He can score goals at times, and he's much better, much more creative in that position. I think it's a waste of his talent putting Luiz at the back. Midfield, Luiz midfield for Roma. That is a thumbs up. That's what I think he should do. Sophie, we need to get rid of Cahill and Michi from Faz. Well, I mean, it's hard to... Cahill's our club captain, so getting rid of him, I don't know. And Conte likes him. Conte really, really likes him. So he obviously sees something that the majority of fans now don't see. I think a lot of fans forget the good that Cahill has done for us over the years. He's been brilliant, and I think a lot of that is down to having JT by his side. But JT isn't there anymore, so. We'll have to just see how that pans out and what he wants to do. I don't think he's going to be with us for another 5 years, but I do think he'll be with us for another season at least. Conte keeps saying he prefers Luiz at the back because of his long-range passing. Well, that may be correct, but I mean, I don't think there's many people that like David Luiz at the back, actually. Anybody I speak to doesn't like him as a defender, and I remember his first spell at Chelsea, that was the same problem. So I think he needs to maybe watch a few videos of what the difference between David Luiz in defence and David Luiz in midfield. And now we haven't got Kante, we need just something extra there. So it's a perfect opportunity to keep our back line solid and to move him further up forward where he's a better player. Pedro in place of Willian. Yep, for the moment I would agree too. We need pace, we need players that are on form, and Pedro so far this season has been a lot better than Willian, and that's not to say that I think Willian should go anywhere. I'm not about to say players should leave the minute they're having a dip in their form, but for the moment, yeah, Pedro should be playing, and he should have been yesterday from the start. I think it's quite unless you're winning a game, unless the game is sort of a close call, you could only mess around with your midfield then, and I always like to wait until the other team make the substitution to see if there's any change and then make our subs. Hazard and Morata to start. It all depends if Morata's probably fit. I I have to look properly at the situation and see how he is. But for me, even if he does regain his fitness for Roma, his hamstring won't have fully recovered. And hamstring injuries aren't like a joke. It's not like a tiny injury as much as you'd like to think it is, because I think if you come back too soon, you just risk the what am I trying to say? You risk the player worsening the injury. So I would just like to think that we need a plan B anyway. We need a plan B. You can't just rely on your first team all season, because we got lucky. We got really, really lucky last season, and we had a couple of injuries, but we managed to rectify it. This season's completely different. Predict the Roma lineup, please. SJ. Okay, SJ, before I do that, can you just please tell me whether you want me to predict what I think Conte will do or what I would do? And then I can give you a good answer on that. Let's see. Moses or Zappacosta. Okay, SJ, while I'm waiting for your response. Moses or Zappacosta. Let me have a look. Roma or Zappacosta? Moses or Zappacosta? Tough one, actually. Tough one. Moses went off with a hamstring injury, so I don't think he's going to be featuring. So based on that, I'm going to say Zappacosta. And SJ, my lineup. Okay, let's go with it then. So Courtois in goal, I'm going to say, and then I'm going to go. Who am I going to go after that? Courtois in goal. Then I'm going to go Rudiger, Christensen, and Dave. That would be my my back three. Then I'm going to go Zappacosta and Alonso on the wings, because I don't think Moses is going to be fit in time. I don't know how serious that injury is, but I think Zappacosta for this game. I think we need fresh legs. I think we need somebody that's going to be completely on it. And I don't think Moses has been as good as he was last season. And when Zappacosta last played, I thought he was fantastic at the Bridge. So I'm definitely going to say Zappacosta and Alonso. I know Alonso didn't have his best game yesterday, but I mean the whole team fell apart, so we can't blame it on that. And then in the midfield, it's going to be a tough one, actually. Like I said, I want Luiz to feature, but I don't know the exact setup that I would put in. So, I mean, I don't think you can have Bakayoko and Luiz playing together, but I mean, something's going to have to change here. Something in the midfield is going to have to tweak. But I probably would move Fabregas further up forward with Eden Hazard and then have Batshuayi up front. So if that means that Luiz has to come in somewhere around the midfield, make it happen. That's what I think should happen. So we're going to go Zappacosta and Alonso on the wings. I'm going to say Bakayoko and Luiz in the midfield for a YOLO. And I would move Fabregas further up forward, because when we saw Fabregas moving further up forward, he was he made so much more of a good impact to the game. So why why you wouldn't play him, then that's it. But if Morata is fit, obviously Morata is my first choice, so let's put that in. But I like to hear that from Morata himself, and I like to see it on the pitch. I like to see the team selection, to believe it. But I was right, he wasn't going to be back for Palace. He wasn't going to be fit, but I know he's doing everything to recover really quickly. My score prediction, Eric, is going to be score prediction for Roma. Well, we played like we did against Palace, then not good. But if we sort out our backline, if we sort out our team, if we do everything possible, then I think it's going to be a 3-0 win. I really do. I feel like we can do that at the Bridge. I think we've got a lot to prove now, and I think Roma's the perfect game to do so. What do you think about Arsenal London? Well, lost against Watford, so not a lot, to be honest. I mean, no, we can't say much, but their problems, I think, lie deeper than their team selection. They go even further than that. Can Christensen handle CL? Of course he can. If he is the only good player in our game against City, who are currently the best team in the Premier League, let's put it that way, they're playing the best football, they're scoring the most goals. I mean, they were 3-0 up without Aguero the other day. I mean, it's just insane. So, of course he can, but he needs to get game time, and dropping a player when he's done nothing wrong doesn't do anything for him. So, like I say, I think Conte needs to go back to playing players based on merit like he always used to, and then it'll be fine. Okay, last questions then, guys. We've been live for 20 minutes. That's how much we've been talking about our issues. So, yeah, last questions before I go. Don't you think we look better 3-5-2 instead of 3-4-3? Not normally, no. But I'm not opposed to the idea. And Conte is one of those managers that he doesn't need to play a straight system throughout the game. I don't think that works in the Premier League anymore. I don't think you have to be a safe manager. I think when Mourinho was here, we barely changed our team. We never changed our formation. It doesn't work. The Premier League changes every single year. You adapt to every single game. Every single game's different. And if we have to do that, then that's what he has to do. So whatever he feels he needs to do while we've got our injured players, I think he should do. But I think Conte almost needs to go back to being himself and not playing who we did far better when he wasn't doing that, when he was, you know, putting most in the team ahead of everybody else when no other manager would have done that, you know. So would you recall Tammy Abraham back in January? Yep, like I said, I would love to see him back in January. Will he come back? I don't know. I think that's a huge decision by the board. I think they need to be watching him very carefully. But, I mean, common sense would tell you he's a fantastic striker and homegrown. He needs to be back. Space about any news on Morata. We'll be doing a video on Morata tomorrow, so look out for that. I want to get all my proper information first, speak to Charlie, speak to Rory, and then I can give you a proper update. I don't want to do that on a Sunday when we don't know the full extent of the rumours. Do you think Loftus-Cheek will do well once he's back? If he is back, you'd like to think so, because he again was probably the only player that got a half decent amount of game time when he was with us. But the reason he's gone to Palace is because he wants to play football, and I feel like for his career, if he's to have any solid chance, he's very young, so to have any good chance of playing regular long term football, I think he needs to be away from us for quite a few years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we recalled him in 3 years' time. I would say 3-4 years' time, because at the moment he's not going to get any game time. If he's back at the next season, it just won't happen. Last question then. Let me have a look. Do you think many teams know how to play against us now? No, not really. I don't think they know how to play against us at our best. 100% not. They know how to take advantage of our injury situations. And Morata, you look at all the games we've played bad. Burnley, no Eden Hazard in the first 20 minutes, weren't prepared. Palace yesterday, 2 injuries. City, Morata goes off. There's quite a clear pattern there. So they know exactly what to do when we've got injuries, because they know we have quite a lack of options, you know what I mean, or at least a lack of options that Conte favours. And I think if a manager doesn't favour a player, you think you're trying to work on something in training, and it doesn't really go to plan, because he doesn't see it happening himself. So I feel like if you can work on your other options, then we won't have this sort of problem. But at this moment, we don't really have a team B. We have a team A, and that's sort of it. The only thing we can actually deal with is if a player like, if William was to be injured, we've got Pedro. Do you know what I mean? But if Kante gets injured, we haven't got another Kante. If Morata gets injured, we haven't got another Morata. If an Azpilicueta gets injured, we don't really have another one of those. So I think, all by his own goal yesterday, it's teams that had to take advantage of us when we have got injuries or we have got players out of place. Okay, last question then. New backup for Alonso, did I see? Like I say, I think we need to strengthen in quite a few areas. I don't think Conte was happy with our transfer window, and that is a bit of a shame. But I don't think our transfer window was that bad, actually. We signed Bakayoko. He's been fantastic for us. We've signed Morata, best striker I've seen for us in years. So we didn't have a terrible window, but we just needed another 2 or 3 players, I think. And I think Man City have got an array of options that even without Aguero, they're still scoring goals. So we need to look at teams like City and think, right, they've got this option, they've got that option. We need those sorts of options in our team. Okay, last question. I keep saying last question, but I really do mean last question now. Okay. I saw a question about Bayern and that in a minute. Can somebody just write that again? I saw a question about Bayern, but it rolled up too far. So if you want to ask the question again, I'll answer it. I'll wait 2 minutes. Okay, well, while I'm waiting for that one, do you think our title chances are over? Yes, I do, unfortunately. I don't see us coming back from this season. I think we can definitely win it next season, because I think we know what's happened in those seasons. How do you think Chelsea will do against teams like Bayern? Okay. You think with our current team, no, but I think because we can now, I myself, I'm not speaking for Rory and Charlie, I think now because we can establish that our title hopes are more or less down the drain. I'm sorry, I really don't want to offend anyone, but we've lost too many points. It's not like we've lost a game against Liverpool and then we've been fantastic all season. We've dropped points against our rivals at home. We've not lost our away legs. We've dropped points against our rivals at home. We've lost silly games like Palace. We had a bad opening game against Burnley, and I don't think you can really recover from that now. I'd love to think that I'm wrong though, so hopefully I am. But we can't. That being because our title hopes are gone, I think Champions League is a main priority, and I saw some of the best football I've ever seen Chelsea play against Atletico Madrid. If you look at that last goal when Michy scored, not only did Michy score the 94th minute winner, which is brilliant for him, but the lead up to that goal, the flick from Bakayoko, the run of play was fantastic. So I've never seen us play like that. So if we can continue to play like that in the Champions League, then we have nothing to worry about playing against teams like Bayern. But I think by the time that comes around, I think by the time the knockout stages are come about, we'll have Kante back, we'll have Morata back, and I feel like if we can just keep our back line solid, get Christensen back in there, I'm happy with that. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for listening. We've rambled on for 26 minutes. I've loved answering all your comments, and we'll do this next Sunday as well. I think I'm actually with my dad next Sunday and my little brother. So I'll be able to get their thoughts on this, which is really interesting because it's nice to have other opinions. Anyway, yeah, follow us on Twitter at CFCFanTVYT. Follow us on Facebook at CFCFanTV, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. I'm really excited. We've got some really exciting interviews coming up in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I hope you all have a lovely Sunday, have a roast, have some pigs in blankets, and I'll see you all for tomorrow's video.